Well, here we are. This is the Mulligan Stew podcast for ostensibly, on paper, New Year's Eve, but it'll carry on into the new year of 2023. And this is Tasting Room Radio. We don't often have Tasting Room Radio as a podcast. You want people who bring some sort of story with them. This story is really good. Jason Priestley and I have been friends for many years. And along the way, we decided it would be really cool to shoot a television wine show with our friend Chad Oakes, who produced it. And off we went. We did 3 seasons of Hollywood and Vines over 7 human years. Anyway, we got 3 years shot. One of those stories was seen in Slovakia by a winemaking couple called Michael and Martina Mosny. Michael was making wines for a large conglomerate there and had his own boutique winery. And they saw what we were doing in the Okanagan, what we were growing and how clean and fresh it was, because he was used to pollution where he was. And they came over, they took a look at the Okanagan, spent a week out there, went home, sold everything, and moved to the Okanagan, and then started a wine called Winemakers Cut, which I noticed right away because it was on everybody's shelves. And when Michael finally told me the story, he also said, you know, I have the makings of a Bordeaux blend. What do you say we make some wine together, you, me, and Jason? And that's how it turned out. So this is the launch of Q&A, the Bordeaux blend, soon to be followed by a Marsanne Roussanne Viognier White. Here's the Q&A story on the Mulligan Stew podcast. Quiet on the set, rolling. It was a good day, guys. I got recognized by the guy pushing the snow off our driveway. I took my toque off and he said, "Oh my God, it's TerryDavidMulligan from Q&A." Anyway, here we are. It's by the way, this is Tasting Room Radio, and this is the Q&A sessions. And it's half a boardroom meeting, and the other half is we're talking about wines and things. And on this day, just in passing, the Jackson family of Napa Sonoma purchased another Cowichan winery. They purchased Blue Grouse. They had purchased Unsworth, and so there we are. 2 of the bigger wineries on Vancouver Island are now California owned, and will be their acreage will be added to. All of those smarts, all of those skills, all the consulting that they have, they fly them up and they work with them.
It's quite remarkable to hear that half of the Kendall Jackson empire is starting to invest in British Columbia and in British Columbia terroir. It's amazing. Is that like, what do you think that is, Terry? Do you think that they're seeing, because of the climate change and the way that it's moving, that they're moving towards cooler climate vineyards for the future?
It's cool climate. That's exactly what it is, and they think that the Vancouver Island, the territory of Vancouver Island, is going to be maybe blessed with ducking some of the hard impacts that are coming. And so you just have to learn to grow with it. If it's going to give us Pinot, if it's going to give us Chardonnay, will it give us Gamay? Riesling.
Sparkling.
Oh, bubble. Oh God, yeah, bubble.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like Nova Scotia.
So so what you're saying is the future is in sparkling wine? Is that the deal? when the whole world is on fire, we're all just going to be drinking sparkling wine? Is that the deal?
Need to cool it down.
As long as I got something to saber a bottle with, I can get drunk. It's fantastic.
We called this gathering because Michael Mosny and Jason Priestley and myself have partnered in a wine, the red of which is this one right here, a Bordeaux blend. It's a beautiful thing. It's handsome as hell. It's 45% Cabernet. It's 38% Merlot. It's 13% Cab Franc and 4% Petit Verdot. There are 670 cases, or there were 670 cases. I don't know how many are left now, because it's been released and is slowly being rolled out. We see it on shelves now. And we're talking about territories. We know the BC is going to like BC wines. As Charlie Pelletieri says, you're homers. But there's Alberta. They love their big reds. There's Manitoba, Saskatchewan. There's the prairies. You've literally got all that territory out there, and the Maritimes. Don't know about Ontario. I can't answer that one yet, but we are kind of prepared that maybe BC will take to this one in a big way.
Well, I think. Go ahead, Michael.
Well, this is basically the home province of this wine. So, and especially the vintage, 2020 vintage, everybody knows in BC that this was one of the best vintages in the history of BC wine growing, grapes growing. So I think people are already reacting to it. The reaction that we see, especially in a tasting room, is like people don't even want to try it, don't even need to try it. They know that it's going to be something special that they can lay down in their libraries and even open it later. I think the wine is absolutely delicious to be enjoyed even right now.
The podcast I just did, the guys were sipping as we were talking, and they like the nose. It's not that they didn't like the nose, but the nose didn't let on what was coming. It was the explosion of flavor and the attack in the mouth and the finish, and the fact that we all agreed it's going to get better in the bottle. It's going to get better on a shelf somewhere. Just lay it down if you can. If you can do that, it's going to just get better and better and better.
Yeah, I think that this wine is definitely a wine that Michael made for the long haul. I actually, not to promote another Okanagan winery, but I opened a bottle. I was over at a friend's house on Monday night, and I brought a bottle of 2015 Nota Bene from Black Hills, and it was super powerful still, and had tons of mileage left in it. It was big, and it was brooding, and it was deep, and it was really still an incredible bottle of wine. So, I mean, I feel like we've sort of, Michael, I feel like you sort of made this wine in a similar style, and so I feel like this wine will age well and gain depth and complexity as it lays down.
Think, Michael?
I completely agree. Actually, if you remember when we were tasting this wine, when we bottled it, a couple months after, we were still unsure when to release it, and I think the wine actually learned, gave us a lesson that, it's really like you have to start slowly after bottling and let the wine do its thing in a bottle, and it will just evolve into something beautiful.
Yeah.
By the way, this is Tasting Room Radio, and it's also the quorum for Q&A. We are the three partners, Michael Mosny, winemaker. By the way, let's do this right now. Jason Priestley. Jason and I, just to get the story right between the three of us, you please give us the shortened version, Michael, of how you came to be in the Okanagan and making wine at Winemakers Cut. Please, go.
So just a short version is basically that about 10, 12 years ago, when I was still back home in Slovakia in Eastern Europe, I was working for the biggest winery in Slovakia, producing especially sparkling wine, but also table wines, also brandy. And I also was running my very, very small boutique winery or garage winery. And so every day we came home from work, in the vineyard, and we were just resting, having some food and wine, of course, and watching TV, switching channels. And there was this TV show of you two guys, Hollywood and Wines TV, and we were watching it. We were having fun. Especially we liked the show because it was very, very friendly, very easy. It was not about drinking wine as snobs, but drinking wine as people that want to have fun and discovering new wine regions with new people. I completely loved it. And I think once we were watching the show where you were showcasing, you were visiting Okanagan Valley, and we were like, "What, Okanagan Valley, like Canada? That's incredible." So we investigated further, and then we were thinking about doing some changes in our life, because that time we thought that we were still young, so we can do something with our lives. So we thought, like, let's do something. Let's discover the world a little better. So we decided that we will go to Canada, that we will visit Okanagan. And in 2012, we made a decision. We arrived in Okanagan Valley, and ever since we never left. We just love it here. And basically, you two are the reason that I'm with my wife, that we are here in Okanagan. We have a winery and we are enjoying our life.
This is Tasty Room Radio. He's Jason Priestley. I'm TerryDavidMulligan, and we're talking with Michael Mosny, our partner in Q&A Wine, and also the co-founder and winemaker at Winemakers Cut in the Okanagan. Will we ever get to meet Martina?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Right now we have a 3-year-old son. We love him. But he's so hyper that she needs to control him.
Okay, all right.
So yeah, definitely. One day when we have a meeting here, I'll bring her over.
And so, Jay, you know the rest of the story. I see Winemakers Cut show up on the shelves. I'm very impressed with whoever this is. They've just shown up, and they're everywhere.
Yeah.
And then I'm interviewing Michael in Victoria a couple of years later, and he says, "You don't know why I'm here, do you?" I said, "No." And he told me the story, and we instantly became friends. And and I told you, and then you came along, and Michael, you came along and said, "I have the makings of a Bordeaux blend in barrel. Let's do a wine together." And you yelled and dropped the phone and ran around screaming, "Oklahoma, Oklahoma, Oklahoma!" And then we got together and made Q&A.
Yeah, that was about it.
And that's what we're going to set out as a press release. That's it. So and it is a big deal. I don't know, Jay, you understand this because you were connected with Nota Bene, and Michael, you understand this because you're on the other side of the fence. For me, after doing countless interviews about wine and looking at labels and tasting and things, all of a sudden my name's on it in a very small way, but it's on it, and it's different. It's your baby. You want people to like it. Right, and the feedback we got, Jay, you might not know this, we got 93 points today in a review.
From who? We got who reviewed the wine today?
Who was that? Dana Van Mulligan, the wine diva. Yay!
Fantastic. That's great. 93.
And
that's impressive.
And Michael, you very casually in one of our meetings said, "Yeah, I got a white wine. I think we could roll up." And little did I know that it would show up in one of the best labels I have ever seen, bar none. It's gorgeous, textured. It's gorgeous. Yeah. It's Q&A RMV. Please explain.
MRE, Marsan Rusan Viognier. Unique varietals grown in Okanagan. Absolutely stunning vineyard. Actually, just to go back a little bit, the Q&A Red started completely as a destiny because, I walked the vineyards, the new vineyards that our winery signed up for long term, and I completely loved those vineyards. And I didn't even have a plan like what to do with those grapes. I just knew that I want to work with these grapes. So we made base wine, put it in barrels, and that's when we started talking about Q&A. So actually, the wine found its own way to put us together, and now to the customers to enjoy. And the same happened with white, Marsan Rusan Viognier. I think it started completely on its own. I wanted to work with these varietals because that's something that you don't work with these varietals like every day, every single wine region. And I knew this vineyard, I knew the potential, and we made wine, and I knew immediately that you will like it. So when you, Jason, emailed me that you love the wine, I was like, yes, relief. Yeah, that's awesome.
It's a 2021 Q&A RMV with 58% Roussanne, 34% Marsan, 8% Viognier. And Jay, I watched you open it and drink it in Nashville.
Yeah,
and you liked it, didn't you?
Oh yeah. It's really elegant. It's got beautiful mouthfeel. It's super crisp. It's a perfect summertime sipper. It's just like all it needs is the sunshine and a lake or a swimming pool and a glass and a bikini and a swimsuit, and you're good, right? I think it's
one correction: a big glass, really big.
A two-hander.
It's pretty. It's pretty elegant, sexy stuff. I liked it a lot.
There's only 330 cases.
Yeah.
and it's going to be an up there white wine in the price range. But I believe that people who love their Marsan Roussan Viognier will seek it out. I think they are a serious bunch of people.
It's like like sometimes those varietals can get a bit grippy, you know what I mean, in your mouth. But this has just got beautiful viscosity, right? It's just the right, like the mouthfeel on it. It's like it's slippery, you know what I mean? It's like it goes down a little too easy, to tell you the truth. It's a bit of a problem, I
Actually,
think.
you know what? As soon as I tasted it, I said, slow down. I told myself, slow down, slow down.
It's like drinking sunshine. Really, it's kind of what it's like, isn't it?
There's a bumper sticker. So can we tease a price point, Michael?
Oh, again, I have the hardest part, to release the price. I think it will be closer to $40 on the shelf.
All right.
Because this wine, like especially we are talking about very unique varietals, and it was also barrel aged, but without over oaking this wine. I think the oak is just very, very elegantly integrated.
Yep.
And everything is 100% Slovakian oak.
Oh,
yes. Hey, Michael, I forgot to tell you that Jason drove his wine in his own truck. Was it a panel van or a truck, Jay?
it was a cargo van that I rented
from Los Angeles to Nashville.
Oh my God! Why didn't you ask for help? We would help you.
Oh my God! Well, it was I had a buddy of mine who was in Vegas, and so he flew to LA and I flew to LA, and we drove it back together. A 2.5-day drive with 250 cases of wine in a cargo van. It was quite the adventure, and it was it all made it. And, nothing broke. It was pretty fantastic.
Well
but
done.
It was it's all finally back here with me now, and I've got it all here in my wine cellar, which is pretty exciting.
There is a script there. There's a script there.
I don't know if anyone would want to watch it, though. It wasn't very
but
interesting.
the things that could happen to that wine along the way, and the driver, and
things that could happen.
It could happen. Yes, that's right.
The reality of the trip, though, was pretty boring. It was a lot of true crime podcasts.
Okay.
And just two dudes driving a cargo van. Pretty boring stuff.
Okay. Do you want to name your vineyards that you worked with, Michael?
Yes. So the red wine, red blend is from Quail's Wayside Vineyard, where we grow Cabernet Franc and Cabernet Sauvignon.
You know where that is, Jay? It's right below Fairview Cellars, Bill Eggert's place.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just below the first hole.
Actually, Bill used to. I think he planted this vineyard even, and he used these grapes for many years. But then when he decided to retire, that's from what I heard because I never met him. Then he basically canceled the contract with this vineyard, and that's where I showed up.
Good on you. Good on you, man.
Nice.
And the second vineyard is Chahal Vineyard, just around the corner from District Wine Village, north of Oliver, where we grow Merlot and Petit Verdot.
Is Q&A available at District Wine?
Yes, definitely.
The village?
It's available there from the very first day we released it. Many people already came. Many people purchased this wine, tasted this wine, and makes me really happy.
Do you allow them to taste over the counter?
Yes, we do.
Will Jay be able to find this wine in Nashville someday?
Oh, really soon. Like we are already, I think we already made an agreement with our U.S. importer, Cascadia Wine Merchants, and they just can't wait to bring in to the United States.
All right. And Jay had an interesting comment. Made perfect sense. He said it'd be great to get these wines poured by the glass somewhere, so that people could really, so people can try it. They can discover it on their own.
Well, I mean, the secret with that is we would have to make a wine that would be priced at a point where people could put it on a buy the glass list. But obviously, these first two wines that we've created aren't going to quite fit into that area of pricing. So we'll have to continue to work on that, Terry.
I feel so foolish. But I bet it maybe at Hawksworth they'd be pouring that by the glass if they.
I mean, at Hawksworth they could, but I mean, at $40, once you put this on a restaurant list, it's $120 bottle of white wine.
But it's Sebastian Goff. We've got to go talk to him. Wow. I was asked this
something. So Michael, if people at home are interested to get a 6-pack of Q&A, where can they do that?
So we are selling it online through Q&A.wine, through our webpage, and that will direct you to Winemakers Cut webpage where we have our online store set up. So I think the minimum order for Q&A is 2 bottles. And then slowly the wine is being rolled out to liquor stores and restaurants throughout the province, especially. And then other provinces and USA will follow next year.
It's QA.wine, www.qa.wine.
That's correct, yes. Sorry.
All right. What about next year? Do we know?
Oh, we already have bottled the 2021 vintage.
Oh, my God.
So it's a very similar blend because the only difference is that we made a little less in 2021 because it was a vintage where Okanagan was hit by some frost damage. So the yields in the vineyard were lower, but the quality is equal to 2020 vintage, if not better. We'll see how the wine develops in a bottle.
Right. And you just got done picking the 2022 vineyard and probably just put all that stuff in barrel and just laying down for a long slumber right now. How did the 2022 vintage shape up for you, and were you happy with it when you picked it?
I was happy when we picked all the grapes that we have in our contracts or that we grow. It was a cooler vintage, much cooler vintage, so we had to wait until literally like November, even late November, to pick some of the varietals. Some varietals were not ripe enough, especially the tougher ones like Petit Verdot and Cabernet Sauvignon. But the phenological ripening, as far as the color, the seeds color, and the flavors, I think they were absolutely stunning. But I think 2022 will be the vintage where Merlot dominant blends will be probably more popular.
Oh, really? Because the Merlot ripened better?
Yes, exactly.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And the white?
And the white is just spectacular, just like every year.
Okay, so let's review. I talked to Matt Thirlwell, who's our partner at Vintage West. I said, so how can people find the Q&A? They have supplied 30 stores with Vintage West. They have supplied 20 stores with Coastal Craft, which is Vancouver Island. That's 50 stores. The rollout in Alberta, Manitoba, and Saskatchewan is early spring. Ontario, Atlantic Canada, 2023 as well. That's a nice national rollout. It really is. If Ontario comes along, fine. I don't know what's going to be left by the time we get to that. And it will be available in the States. We have, I was talking to Jay about a restaurant in Seattle that I'd love to have them pour, and San Francisco. There's half a dozen where I would love to see if I could get it added to the wine list. Jay's working on Nashville and Toronto.
Got to crack that LCBO if you want to get it on a list in Toronto.
That's true.
There's only one buyer in Ontario.
Yeah, apparently. Oh, by the way, will our friend Chad Oakes be able to find this in a wine store in Alberta soon? It was his television program that
yeah. I remember. Yeah, we'll work on that. We'll work on that for sure.
He's not going to be happy with us if he can't find it.
You can just drive down to Okanagan. It's just a short drive.
Okay.
That's right. He spends enough time there.
And Jay, is this your first Christmas in Nashville?
It's our second Christmas in Nashville, but our first Christmas in our house here. So we're excited to enjoy our first Christmas here in our new house.
Is it different from LA?
Yeah, because we're actually going to have a white Christmas.
Yes,
here,
you are. I saw that.
which is pretty exciting. Yeah, our kids have never had a white Christmas before. So this is going to be pretty cool.
And
my kids who are like 13 and 15 have never experienced the white Christmas. I'm embarrassed to say as a Canadian, but they're going to enjoy it this year.
Do you have a special bottle in the cellar for Christmas dinner and New Year's? Besides Q&A.
This year Christmas dinner, I'm going to drink a 2009 Pane Canet. How about that?
How about that?
Drop the mic.
And Michael, if you had one wine you wanted to have New Year's, what would you have?
Of course, we will have wine with Christmas dinner, and it is going to be the Q&A.
Nice.
I will not lie. It's going to be the Q&A.
I've got a bottle of Q&A right here.
Gorgeous.
That actually is open. So I might actually. I thought Terry said that we were going to be actually tasting some Q&A during the show today.
Oh,
I wanted to taste, but I have just an empty bottle. Yeah, unfortunately,
you just have an empty one.
We've got 3 minutes.
Terry, you usually have an open bottle on your show. This bottle's been open for about 45 minutes, and I find that the last bottle that I opened, I found that if it was open for a while, it becomes way more expressive.
It does.
Like the aromas become way more expressive.
Absolutely, it does.
Like when you first open it, it's pretty shut down. Like you need to open it for a while.
Yeah. Well, the other important thing that I think we should mention that this wine is also unfied and unfiltered,
Right.
and that's where a little bit of like reductiveness can come when it's closed in a bottle for a long time. But then when you open it, it takes really just a proper amount of decanting or a really good decanter to open up the aromas.
Right. That's good information to tell
Jay,
people.
what I did notice was I just sipped it the first time, and then I was headed for bed, and I put it in the fridge. And the next night, I took it out of the fridge, let it warm up a bit, opened it, and it was even better. I couldn't quite figure it out.
Yeah.
Remarkable.
Well, just because it needed some time to open up. I thought you were going to tell me that you were sipping it and then you were headed for bed and you just dumped the whole rest of the bottle in your mouth, because that's what you usually do, isn't it?
That's what I did. See over here.
You probably want to get some air on that. It is. It's big. It's nice.
Okay, you guys. And Michael, you were absolutely right. Give it time and bottle. You sent us a case and said 1 bottle a month. And until we can achieve some sort of balance, and the balance is there. Now it can have a life of its own. Very good, gentlemen. Thank you very much for doing this. I appreciate it. I'll put this up on the website. Lots of links, lots of color pictures. Shot of Jason with his hair sticking out. That's good. It's all good.
Awesome.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Yeah.
It's going to be a very, very interesting year, 2023, for us in Q&A.
I think so. Michael, this is really nice, man. It really came together. Really nice.
Awesome. Very happy to see that.
Awesome stuff, man.
Just for the record, he is Jason Priestley. I'm TerryDavidMulligan, and the winemaker of record is Michael Mosny from Winemakers Cut, and this is Tasting Room Radio. And all three of us wish you a happy new year and a very safe and wonderful 2023. Thank you. Cheers.